Hi there, it is Eva here from Women Blazing Trails. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about loneliness because I get a lot of emails and a lot of the blogs that I write about loneliness and feeling lonely after 60. I get a lot of emails from women who feel I don't want to say desperate, but they feel sad and they feel depressed. And a lot of my blogs have given them, some great ideas to help them through those feelings of loneliness. So I thought I would come on here and do a video and share some tips on how to overcome the feeling of loneliness. And a lot of us over 60, because I'll actually be 62 this year. I still can't believe that. Just saying that still just kind of freaks me out. So a lot of people over 60, they've recently divorced or their spouses have deceased. Their kids are grown and gone. A lot of their children are not living in the same city as them. Maybe they've left the country. Their families are all, grown. If they have, brothers and sisters, some of them are deceased. Some of them are also, in different cities. And you just get to a point after 60 where you find yourself where you're sitting at your kitchen table eating dinner alone, or you're sitting in the living room or whatever, and you just realize how lonely you actually do feel. Like and I get like that too sometimes. I mean, I feel like as I got older, I've become more of an introvert, which is kind of weird because I've always been like an extreme extrovert, but I've become a little bit of an introvert, and I really, really do love my alone time, and I can only like do peopling like in short spurts. But there are moments when I'm sitting here, and feeling lonely and wish I had somebody to watch a movie with, or I wish I had somebody to, go out for dinner with. I feel like that too sometimes. I'm not alone, and if you are feeling lonely, there's my cat. If you are feeling lonely, or I don't want to say depressed, but sometimes that happens. We start feeling a little depressed. And I think it's important, before we get into the ways to overcome loneliness, I think it's important to not only take care of your physical health as we get older, of course, but it's also really important to take care of your mental health as well. So if you're starting to feel depressed, if you're starting to maybe almost isolate yourself, if you will, falling into like a deeper depression, and let's just say for example that you've never had depression before, you've never battled with depression or suffered from it or anything. If you're starting to feel like that, it's really important to reach out and talk to somebody, whether it's a professional or a friend or a close family member. There are a lot of free helplines you can call if you're feeling really lonely and sad and borderline depressed. I'm going to drop some links down below, just a link to a site that has free helpline numbers. I think it's worldwide. I'll double check that. So don't forget to check out the links down below. I'm going to drop a link for that as well. So if you are starting to feel really low, you need to catch yourself before it gets too dark and too deep, and get help, because help is available, and help doesn't always mean you have to pay money. You can get help for free. So I need you to do so that. We're just going to get right to it. If you are starting to feel overwhelmed by loneliness, I'm going to share a few tips with you on how you can overcome your loneliness and how you can turn that frown upside down. Tip number one, and this sounds kind of, when I say it, you'll be like, what is she talking about? So tip number one is take a break from social media, which kind of sounds weird because you're probably going to be like, well, Eva, if I'm all alone, don't I want to be on social media so I can talk to my friends? Well, yes and no. So social media is a great outlet where you can reach out to your family and friends if they live, elsewhere around the world. But the problem with social media is that when you're scrolling through your feed and you're just checking out everybody's, their profiles and stuff like that, a lot of the times what happens is that, maybe Margaret or Penny or Susan, they're just going on and on about their wonderful new boyfriend that they're dating, or their wonderful life, or about all the friends they have. And that's going to cause you even more sadness, because when, as much as we want to see our friends happy, and you should always be happy for your friends, it also makes us feel I don't want to use the word jealous, because jealous I hate that word jealous, but it makes us feel like we're less than, like we're not, like we're insignificant or unworthy. Like, how come Margaret has all this great life and she has all these friends and her life is so beautiful, and here I am over here all by myself, feeling sorry for myself and eating a tub of ice cream and a bag of chips, watching, I don't know, some random bullshit series on Netflix. So social media, while it does have its pros, because you can connect with all your friends and family, it does have its cons. So if you're starting to feel, if you are scrolling on social media and you're starting to feel a little bit like, like fuck Margaret and all her friends and her great life, if you're starting to feel like that, it's time to turn it off and get off of social media. So I would say that, number one, take a break from social media and take a break from scrolling, because it sometimes can cause more harm than good. That's tip number one. Tip number two is, if you're sitting at home and you're feeling kind of, sorry for yourself, just put on a pair of walking shoes and get outside and go for a walk. And here's the beauty of it. I love this. So let's say you go for a walk and you're by yourself, or maybe you have a dog. If you have a dog, then you should be out walking your dog every day. But if you go for a walk, and let's say you go to like a park and you are feeling, shitty and lonely and feeling sorry for yourself, and you go for a walk and you go to the park and you sit at a bench, and then somebody sits beside you, and then you meet a new person, or maybe you're going for a walk and you stop at a little cafe to grab like a bottle of water or something, and you start talking to people in the cafe. Like, it's an opportunity to not only clear your mind and get some fresh air and get some exercise in, but it's a great way to actually, you never know when you can have the opportunity to meet new people, and to maybe even make new friends. And maybe you're not going to make new friends, but it's nice to be able to, when you're out walking and you just run into some random person and start talking, that person could have some really kind, fun, nice words for you to help cheer you up. So going for a walk is actually, there's a lot of different benefits to going for a walk, not just your health, but in your mental health, but you could meet cool people. And the third tip to help you overcome loneliness is to find like-minded people. So tip number 3 and tip number 4 kind of go hand in hand. So try to find like-minded people. So we're going to go back to social media. And I know you just said, Eva, you told me to take a break from social media. Yes, I did. But social media also does good, right? So if you go and, you can Google on Facebook, and looking for Facebook groups, or on Google, find Facebook groups in your area. Maybe you like bird watching, or maybe you like watching butterflies, or maybe you like painting, or maybe you're into Bible study. I mean, whatever it is that you are really into, find a group or find like-minded people who maybe meet somewhere at somebody's house once a week, and maybe they just sit and knit and talk and chat together. Or Bible study, if you're into that, you might find a great Bible study group. Or maybe there's a cool bird watching, butterfly chasing group. I mean, go and find like-minded people. Do a quick little search, and you'll be surprised what you can find. I mean, the internet is a wealth of information, and you can find a lot of really cool things on the internet. So go and find somebody that you want to share your passion with, and you probably will find there's already groups out there that exist that are just waiting for you. So try to find like-minded people that you can connect with, and join for, book reading, Bible study, whatever. And there's her tail in my face. Tip number 4 is attend social events. Now you're probably gonna say, no, I'm not going anywhere by myself, but you should wipe that thought out of your mind. So let's say there's like a really cool art exhibit show or a craft show, or I don't know, some kind of a little outdoor concert. Maybe there's something going on, I don't know, and maybe you're really interested in going, but you don't want to go alone. Well, I'm encouraging you to go alone regardless. And I know sometimes it can suck to go somewhere alone because you do want to have company, you'd rather go with your friends, but just put yourself out there. And that's and I know a lot of people, especially introverts, we don't like to go anywhere alone because it's terrifying, and sometimes it can cause a little bit of anxiety. But put yourself out there and go to an event alone, because I bet you there's other people there who went alone, and you might run into them, and then you could make another new friend. So don't be afraid and don't be shy to attend social events. And I mean, I'm not talking 100,000 people rock concert, just any kind of, even a small gathering social event. Those are good and those are fun. Just go, just get your shoes on, grab your purse, and just go. And so here's a funny thing. When you go to these things and you're all feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this, and you feel like throwing up and you have a little bit of anxiety, and then you can't breathe, and then you go, and then you have like an amazeballs time, like you have the best time ever, and you met some really cool people, and then you go home at the end of the event and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I went. Like, that feeling is so wonderful. Like, that's just a really good feeling. So I want you to be brave and start going to social events that you want to go to. Like, you want to go to these things and you don't. Instead, you sit at home alone and feel sorry for yourself because you're too afraid to go to these things alone. Why? Just go. Just go. Number 5. Already number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at number 5. Well, number 5 is my favorite in the whole wide world, which is volunteer. To go and volunteer. And there are, like 1 million volunteer organizations, billions around the world. I don't know. Who knows? So maybe you like animals, or maybe you like the elderly, like in nursing homes, or maybe you like kids or special needs kids, or I don't know, whatever it is that you like. Find a volunteer organization that speaks to your heart and reach out and contact them and say, hey, are you looking for volunteers? I would love to join your organization. Do a little bit of research on the organization, find a little bit more about it to make sure that it's a good fit for you, and then just reach out and say, hey, do you need volunteers? I have, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, however many hours you have in a week, a month, whatever. You set your schedule, you go volunteer, it's on your time. But go and reach out, go and check out some of the volunteer organizations. And I remember, so I'm going to take you back to 10, 11 years ago, when I had hit rock bottom and my whole world came crashing down around me, and my life sucked a lot. It really sucked a lot. I started volunteering at a homeless shelter because I just needed to get myself out of the house and stop feeling sorry for myself, and stop, thinking about ways to kill myself, because I did. And I thought, I'm just going to go and volunteer, and I'm just going to go be in a totally different atmosphere, environment, and I'm just going to immerse myself in that environment and just be present there, or whatever I was doing. So volunteering at the homeless shelter was what brought me such joy. I can't even describe it. So don't be afraid to find a good organization that speaks to your heart, and go volunteer. And that's I love volunteering. Tip number 6 is to journal. And when I say journal, I don't just mean, I think people have a misconception about journaling. I don't think enough people understand what journaling really entails and what it's for. So there are different kinds of journaling. You can do daily gratitude journals, which is what I do every morning. When I get up in the morning, I make my coffee and I sit in my comfy corner chair and I journal and I meditate. So I just do gratitude journaling, and that helps me to remind myself of all the things that I'm grateful for, and to remind myself of how blessed I really am. But journaling could also be just writing out your feelings. And a lot of times, what happens to us is that if many people don't like to share their feelings, we don't want to talk about our feelings to our friends. We don't want to bother. I don't want to bother anybody with my problems because my problems are so small and everybody's dealing with their own stuff. Blah blah blah. Most of us are like that. So we'd rather not talk to anybody at all. And what happens when you don't talk to anybody, or you don't share your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions and your sadness with anybody, they just stay inside, and then they just get bottled up, and then they just fester, and they get bigger, and it gets darker, and then they become this. So what happens, and here's a visual, I want you to visualize this. All your negative thoughts and emotions and feelings that you keep buried inside because you don't want to share them, they turn into this big, dark, gloopy, globby ball of toxicity. It's like an ugly, dark, gross, icky ball, like a glop of it's just gross. So that's what's going on inside of you. So imagine that. And I love that visual. And I love that analogy because people go, oh my God, all these icky thoughts, they're just in there and they're just swirling. So I want you to think about this. So while you've got all these toxic, negative, limiting beliefs and all these horrible thoughts going on inside of you, in here and in here, what do you think they're doing to you physically? This is what they're doing to you mentally and emotionally. But what do you think they're doing to you physically? They're not helping you whatsoever. So what happens when we bottle up our feelings and we don't share them, we become depressed or sad or anxious or lonely, and a lot of us are emotional eaters, right? And I probably struck a nerve with a few people, but we become emotional eaters and we feel sorry for ourselves, and then we grab that tub of ice cream or grab that bag of cookies or whatever your food weapon of choice is. So journaling is a fabulous way, and I mean fabulous, if you don't like to talk to people, if you don't like to share your thoughts and feelings with people, write out all those thoughts and get them all out. And you can do this once a week, you can do this every day, you can do this as often as you want, because it's really, really therapeutic. I want you to write out all your thoughts and feelings. You can just start and go, this is how I'm feeling today. And you can write out, I'm feeling sad, I feel shitty, I feel like a loser, just write out just get them all out, like literally vomit on the paper and just get out all your thoughts and feelings, get them out of you. And then once you're done getting all those gross, icky feelings out of you, like take a break, take a drink of water, cry if you have to. I've done that a million times, so you're not alone here. Cry, go for a walk, do whatever you have to do. But after sometime during that day or the next day, I want to say within 12 to 24 hours of you writing that toxic letter, I want you to write yourself a love letter. I want you to write yourself a letter about how wonderful you are and how amazing you are and all the great qualities you have about yourself and why people love you so much. I want you to write out all the good things about you and the good things that you have going on in your life. You're healthy, you have a roof over your head, you have a loving family, whatever the case may be. I want you to write out all the really beautiful, lovely good things about yourself after you write out your toxic letter. And do this as often as you have to. Like, don't just think it's a one-time deal. Like, if you need to do this once a day, once every 3 days, 3 times a week, however often you have to, when you feel icky and shitty and gross inside, sit down with a pen and paper and just start get them out. Don't let them fester, and don't let them stew and boil inside of you. I want you to remember that big black glob. It's a slimy, thick, horrible big glob of toxicity inside you. I want you to keep that visual in your mind whenever you have icky thoughts, and then I want you to get out piece of paper and pen and write out all those thoughts and get them out. Like, get them out of you. They don't belong inside of you. And the last tip I want to share with you, and I'm going to drop a blog link down below in the description. Please don't forget to check out the description box before you leave, after you watch the videos, because I drop a lot of really cool resources and links down below for you to check out. And it helps my website grow, and there's just a lot of really cool resources that I like to share with you. So don't forget to check out the links down. And the last tip I want to share with you is to join meetup groups, and they do still exist. I know for a while when COVID hit, everything, I mean, the whole world shut down, but there's still meetup groups. So back to the internet. You can go back on social media. You can go back to Google in your search in your area. Meetup groups of women over 55, or meetup groups of women over 60 who like to, I don't know, who have faith in God, or who like to chat over tea or share recipes, or whatever the case may be. Go and find meetup groups. Check the library, you can check coffee shops, you can ask around, maybe some people in your neighborhood, wherever, just ask around, find meetup groups, and go join a meetup group, and you'll make new friends, and it'll get you out of the house once or twice a week, and you'll be with, some new fun people. So anyway, those are my 7 tips to help you overcome loneliness, because loneliness sucks. I mean, that is just it's a really heavy feeling, and I feel like that sometimes too. Probably, I don't know how often, like probably twice a week when I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. Sometimes I think, wow, it would be nice to watch a movie with somebody, or so yeah, I have those feelings too. I get lonely too. As much as we love being alone, at our age, over 50 or 60, and I just did a video on that. I'll drop a link, or the link is going to be up here. I'm not sure where the link is, but I'll drop the link to that video so you can go check that out, about all the reasons why I absolutely love being alone, because I do love being alone, but it doesn't come without the feelings of loneliness. And I think we all have them. Honestly, I think we all have them. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. That when you do that, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, that helps my channel grow, and it helps reach more people, so we can reach more women over 50 or 60 or 40 or whatever, however old they are, to help them overcome their loneliness too, because nobody should just feel alone and not have help and not have the tools to help them deal with that. So anyway, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be. I'm sorry about that. If you've made it this far, thank you. I love you. Don't forget to check the links down in the description box below. I upload videos once a week, every Sunday. And I think next video, we'll probably do a little bit of expat life stuff. So that's all I got for you guys. I love you, and I hope you all have an amazing week. Bye for now.